They don't attack you because you are wrong. They attack you because your existence exposes something they have spent years trying to hide. Weak people rarely hate weakness. They live with it comfortably. What they hate is strength standing near them like a mirror. The moment a strong mind enters the room, excuses begin to die. Laziness becomes visible. Emotional chaos looks childish. Victimhood loses its glamour. Average thinking starts to feel embarrassing. And for many people that pain is unbearable. So they do what frightened people have always done. They attack what reveals them. Most people imagine conflict begins with disagreement. It does not. Conflict often begins with comparison. When someone sees in you a discipline they lack, a calm they cannot access, a focus they abandoned, or a self-respect they traded away long ago, something dangerous happens inside them. They feel smaller without you saying a word. And because they do not know how to rise, they try to lower. This is one of the oldest laws of human behavior. Those who cannot build, criticize. Those who cannot lead, sabotage. Those who cannot master themselves, resent those who can. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew power does not only create enemies through force, it creates enemies through contrast. A competent man embarrasses the incompetent merely by existing. A composed woman irritates the chaotic merely by refusing drama. A disciplined person offends the indulgent without ever speaking. Your strength becomes an accusation in the minds of those who abandoned their own. That is why many attacks appear irrational. You may have noticed it in school. The serious student mocked by the unserious. The focused one called boring. The talented one labeled arrogant. The quiet observer called strange. The honest one excluded. The ambitious one ridiculed. At the time it looks random. It is not random. It is defensive behavior. Weak people often sense hierarchy instinctively. They know who threatens their comfortable position in the social order. Not through violence. Through competence. Competence is terrifying to mediocrity because it cannot be argued with for long. A liar can debate truth. An insecure person can gossip about confidence. A lazy person can insult discipline. But results remain. And results humiliate those living on performance and appearance. So they turn to the only weapons left. Mockery, group pressure, character attacks, subtle exclusion, rumors, dismissal, passive resistance. The goal is simple. If they cannot become stronger, they will try to make strength more expensive. There was a pattern Machiavelli observed among courts and rulers. A prince who showed clarity attracted not only loyalty, but hidden hatred. Not always from rivals above him, often from lesser men beneath him. Why? Because weak men can tolerate a tyrant more easily than a capable leader. A tyrant justifies fear. A capable leader exposes waste. Under a fool, everyone can hide. Under excellence, everyone is measured. That is why organizations sometimes protect incompetence. Families sometimes attack the member who grows. Friend groups sometimes reject the one who evolves. Systems built on low standards feel threatened by anyone who introduces gravity. The strong mind is dangerous not because it attacks others, but because it ends illusions. And illusions are precious to the weak. Some weak people survive through stories. I would succeed if life were fair. I could be disciplined if I had time. I am misunderstood, not ineffective. People like him are just lucky. She only succeeds because of privilege. He is cold, that's why he wins. These narratives protect identity. They keep a person from confronting painful truths. Then someone arrives who had the same obstacles. Less support, more setbacks, and still built something real. That person becomes intolerable. Because now the excuse has competition, and excuses hate evidence. So the weak person begins searching for flaws. If you are successful, they say you are obsessed. If you are calm, they say you are emotionless. If you are private, they say you are hiding something. If you are confident, they say you are arrogant. If you are kind but firm, they say you are fake. If you are ambitious, they say you worship money. If you are selective, they say you think you're better. Notice the pattern. Whatever protects your strength becomes morally reframed as a defect. This allows them to attack you while feeling righteous. Weakness loves moral camouflage. Rarely will a weak person say, "Your discipline makes me feel ashamed." Instead, they say, "You take life too seriously." Rarely will they say, "Your standards reveal my laziness." Instead, they say, "You've changed." Rarely will they say, "Your boundaries limit my access." Instead, they say, "You think you're too good now." This is why many attacks sound strangely shallow. The real motive is hidden even from the attacker. Most people do not consciously understand why they resent you. They only feel discomfort and seek a target. The strong mind learns to decode this. He stops taking every insult literally. He asks, "What truth in me is disturbing something unresolved in them?" This question changes everything. Because once you understand projection, hostility loses much of its magic. A bitter person accuses you of selfishness after you set boundaries. Perhaps boundaries expose their entitlement. An unserious person calls you rigid after you become consistent. Perhaps consistency exposed their chaos. A manipulator says you are cold after you stop reacting. Perhaps your detachment removed their control. Human beings often accuse others of the pain those others trigger indirectly. The pain is internal. The blame is external. Machiavelli knew that men are more eager to attack what frustrates their desires than what actually harms them. This is why some people hate the honest more than the corrupt. The corrupt can be negotiated with. The honest create limits. Some hate the disciplined more than the incompetent. The incompetent lower expectations for everyone. The disciplined raise them. Some hate the independent more than the cruel. The cruel can still be needed. The independent cannot be controlled easily. There is another reason weak people attack strong minds. They mistake silence for vulnerability. Strong minds are often quieter than average people. They do not need constant display. They conserve speech. They observe before reacting. They do not defend themselves against every minor accusation. To the weak, this looks like weakness. Why? Because weak people think in surface signals. Loud means powerful. Immediate means confident. Aggressive means dominant. Dramatic means sincere. So they provoke the quiet person. They test boundaries. They interrupt. They mock. They underestimate. Then they are surprised when the quiet person responds once, clearly, decisively, and ends the game. Noise misreads depth. This is why dangerous people are often underestimated at first, and why shallow aggressors often lose to patient minds. The weak person seeks quick victories. The strong mind plays long games. One wants to win moments. The other wants to control outcomes. There is a story often told in the spirit of Machiavelli. A lesser noble at court mocked a rising strategist repeatedly in public, hoping to diminish him before others. The strategist never reacted. Weeks passed. The mockery continued. Many assumed fear. Then appointments were made. Alliances shifted. Access was quietly removed. Those loyal to the mocker found doors closed. Opportunities vanished. Invitations stopped. The noble had won conversations. The strategist had won structure. This is the difference weak people rarely understand. Public drama feels powerful to those with no private leverage. Strong minds do not always respond where you strike them. They respond where your future depends. Weak people attack because they live in immediate emotion. Strong minds operate in delayed consequence. This difference creates endless misunderstandings. The weak person says, "Why didn't he defend himself?" Because he was measuring. "Why didn't she argue back?" Because she was learning your pattern. Why are they so calm? Because panic is expensive. Why do they seem detached? Because attachment to every perception is slavery. Many people cannot comprehend restraint because they themselves are ruled by impulse. When anger rises, they speak. When envy rises, they gossip. When insecurity rises, they posture. When shame rises, they attack. When loneliness rises, they beg. When boredom rises, they sabotage. Their inner weather becomes public policy. The strong mind does not eliminate emotion. He disciplines its timing. He may feel insult and say nothing. He may feel rage and smile. He may feel grief and continue. He may feel desire and delay. He may feel doubt and act anyway. To weak people, this seems unnatural. It is simply trained. And training always offends the untrained. There is also the matter of groups. Weak individuals often become bolder in numbers. Alone they may be timid. Together they become vicious. Why? Because groups dilute responsibility. Cowardice loves shared masks. A single resentful person may whisper. A resentful group may destroy reputations. A single insecure colleague hesitates. A cluster of insecure colleagues forms politics. A single bitter friend stays quiet. A bitter circle begins ridicule. The group gives permission to impulses individuals would fear owning alone. Machiavelli understood mobs. He knew crowds can be manipulated by emotion faster than individuals can be persuaded by reason. This is why strong minds must learn something uncomfortable. Being right does not guarantee protection. Being good does not guarantee fairness. Being talented does not guarantee acceptance. Sometimes the more value you carry, the more resistance you attract. Not because value is wrong, because value redistributes status. When a stronger person enters a weak environment, rankings shift. Someone loses attention. Someone loses excuses. Someone loses control. Someone loses identity. And many people fight harder for identity than survival. You see this when one family member begins healing. Suddenly others criticize them. When one friend becomes disciplined, the group mocks them. When one employee becomes excellent, coworkers resent them. When one partner develops boundaries, manipulation intensifies. Growth is often treated as betrayal by those who benefited from your smaller version. That sentence explains many broken relationships. They did not love you. They loved access to you before strength arrived. The strong mind must learn not to seek approval from those invested in his weakness. This is where many fail. They improve externally but remain emotionally tied to old audiences. They still want applause from people who preferred them confused. They still want understanding from those who profited from misunderstanding. They still explain themselves to critics who never came in good faith. This drains power. Once someone reveals they resent your rise, explanation becomes tribute. Some people deserve distance, not persuasion. But strength must also avoid arrogance. Not everyone who challenges you is weak. Some criticism is medicine. Some resistance is necessary correction. Some opposition protects you from blind spots. The weak mind rejects all criticism. The strong mind sorts criticism. Who is saying it? What is their life built on? What incentive do they have? What pattern surrounds their words? What truth remains, even if the messenger is flawed? This discernment matters. Because if you call every attack envy, you become delusional. And if you treat every attack as valid, you become manipulable. Balance belongs to the disciplined. Weak people also attack strong minds because strength highlights time. Nothing frightens many adults more than wasted years. A focused younger person can trigger older people who drifted. A calm person can trigger those who spent decades in drama. A financially disciplined person can trigger those who consumed recklessly. A healthy person can trigger those who ignored themselves. You are not just showing who you are. You are reminding them what they did not become. That reminder can feel brutal. Some will turn that pain inward and change. Others will turn it outward and attack. Always watch where pain goes. That reveals character. Pain directed inward can become growth. Pain directed outward often becomes blame. This is why some people grow stronger after humiliation, while others grow crueler. The same wound can produce wisdom or venom. Choice determines legacy. There is a final reason weak people attack strong minds. They hope strength is fake. Many attacks are tests, not battles. They provoke to see if you are composed or merely performing composure. They disrespect to see if boundaries are real. They gossip to see if reputation is fragile. They withdraw to see if you chase. They insult to see if ego is exposed. They challenge to see if confidence collapses under friction. Weak people live among masks, so they assume everyone wears one. When they meet something genuine, they test it repeatedly. If you crumble, they feel relief. If you hold, they feel threatened. Either way, they learn. So what should a strong mind do? Not what most imagine. Do not obsess over revenge. Weak people often self-destruct without assistance. Do not explain your value constantly. Those determined not to see it are protecting something. Do not shrink to make others comfortable. Comfort purchased through self-betrayal becomes resentment later. Do not perform hardness theatrically. Real strength has no need to announce itself. Do not react to every mosquito as if it were a wolf. Discern scale. Save force for what matters. Continue building. Continue refining. Continue becoming difficult to replace. Difficult to deceive, difficult to provoke. Let your life become an answer longer than any argument. Machiavelli would remind you that hatred is often the tax paid by those who rise above ordinary dependency. If weak people attack you, ask first whether you are truly strong. Sometimes hostility means nothing, but sometimes it means you have become a mirror in a room full of people avoiding reflection, and mirrors are rarely loved. They are cracked, covered, mocked, or removed, yet nothing changes the face standing before them. Remember this, the weak attack strength because they cannot dominate it, imitate it, or ignore it. So they try to stain it, but mud thrown upward usually falls back downward. In the end, strong minds are not measured by how many enemies they silence. They are measured by how many small people fail to stop them. Weak people rarely attack strength because strength harmed them. They attack it because strength unsettles them. Your discipline reminds them of promises they broke to themselves. Your calm reminds them how easily they are ruled by emotion. Your boundaries remind them how much access they lost through entitlement. Your growth reminds them that change was possible all along. This is why hostility often appears where you expected support. Many people celebrate potential but resent proof. They applaud dreams but dislike results. They encourage growth in theory, then resist it when it changes the balance between you and them. Do not mistake this reaction for a sign to shrink. Do not interpret envy as wisdom or mockery as truth. Some criticism is useful, but much of it is only pain looking for a target. Learn the difference. The strong mind does not waste years trying to be understood by those invested in misunderstanding. It does not lower itself to calm insecure egos. It does not abandon discipline to keep weak company comfortable. It keeps building, keeps observing, keeps moving. Remember this carefully. When small people cannot rise to your level, they often try to pull you to theirs. If you react blindly, they succeed. If you remain steady, they expose themselves. In the end, strength is not proven by how loudly you answer attacks. It is proven by how little those attacks alter your direction. Let them speak. Let them resent. Let them test. While they spend energy resisting what you are becoming, keep becoming it.